The father sits in a chair, his 12-year-old son beside him on a couch. A soft lamp casts a warm glow, and the air feels heavy with the weight of an important conversation. The father leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees, and began, "Son, you're only 12, but I need you to hear this now. These are lessons I wish someone had shouted into my ears when I was your age. Lessons most people only learn when it's too late to do anything about them." He paused for a moment, letting the silence emphasize his next words. "Time, my boy, doesn't wait for anyone. People will tell you that you've got plenty of it. Don't believe them. Time slips through your fingers not like sand, but like water. It's always moving, and you can't hold on to it. Don't waste your days waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Create the moment. Take the risk. Start now." The boy furrowed his brows and hesitated before asking, "But isn't it okay to just relax sometimes?" The father gave a small smile. "Of course, it is," he replied, his tone soft but firm. "But don't confuse resting with wasting. Rest is like sharpening your blade. It's necessary, but laziness dulls you. Learn to know the difference. Rest when you've earned it, not when you're avoiding something hard." He leaned back, his voice becoming more intense. "And let me tell you something else. Something no one will say openly: being liked is overrated. You could twist yourself into 1,000 shapes to make people happy, and they'd still find reasons to criticize you. Be respectful, be kind, but for God's sake, don't lose yourself in the process. The most important approval you'll ever need is your own." The boy tilted his head, curiosity sparking in his eyes. "But what about friends? How do I know who to trust?" The father's gaze grew serious. "Choose your friends like you'd choose a parachute," he said slowly. "The people you surround yourself with can lift you or drag you down. A true friend doesn't flatter you when you're wrong, they challenge you to be better. Be selective. It's better to walk alone than to run with fools. Remember, the wrong crowd will cost you more than loneliness ever will." He paused, his tone softening as he continued, "And while we're on the subject of life's truths, let me tell you this: money matters, but it's not everything. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Money buys freedom, options, and comfort, but it can't buy respect or peace. Never trade your integrity for a few dollars. A man with principles is richer than any man who sold his soul for wealth." The boy leaned forward, his voice uncertain but sincere. "So, is it better to be happy than rich?" The father chuckled softly, shaking his head. "Happiness isn't something you find, son. It's something you create. It's not hiding in piles of cash or fleeting pleasures. It comes from living with purpose, building relationships, and doing what makes you proud. Chase meaning, and happiness will follow. Chase happiness, and you'll never catch it." The boy looked thoughtful, his youthful innocence blending with a growing understanding. "What about mistakes, Dad? What if I mess up?" The father sighed, his expression softening. "You will mess up," he admitted. "We all do. But here's the truth: most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to care about your mistakes. Failure isn't the end. It's your teacher. Learn from it, and it'll become your ally. Fear of failure is what stops most people, not failure itself." The boy's eyes narrowed as he thought deeply. "What's the hardest lesson you've learned?" he asked after a moment. The father leaned back in his chair, a shadow of regret crossing his face. "Not every battle is worth fighting," he said quietly. "When I was younger, I wasted energy trying to win every argument, proving I was right. But life isn't about winning every fight. It's about saving your strength for what truly matters: your dreams, your loved ones, and your peace. Learn to let go of what doesn't serve you, and you'll find freedom." The father looked at his son, his voice growing softer as if speaking to himself. "And above all else, son, take care of yourself. Not just your body, but your mind and soul. Protect your mental health like it's the most valuable treasure you own. Build habits that keep you grounded. Read, exercise, meditate. Life will throw storms at you, but if your foundation is strong, you'll stand tall." A long silence followed, broken only by the soft hum of the lamp. The boy nodded slowly, the weight of his father's words sinking in. The father placed a firm hand on his son's shoulder. "Promise me one thing," he said, his voice steady but full of emotion. "Don't wait until you're my age to start living wisely. The earlier you learn, the fewer regrets you'll carry. And maybe, one day, you'll sit down like this with your own son and tell him the same." The boy didn't say anything, but his eyes said it all. He had understood.